Geometric transformations. This is a digital lesson, and this one is pirate themed. It covers the transformations of reflection, translation, dilation, and rotation around the origin. So the lesson starts with a definition of what transformation means and what it means in mathematics. Slide 3 has the definition of the 4 different transformations we're going to see in this lesson. And students can refer back to slide 3 if they need to, and they will on the very last slide. They will need to drag and drop these terms into sentence frames. So we're going to start with reflection. We're going to show a mirror image of this figure across the y-axis. So we want it to be on the other side of the y-axis, equal distance, but a mirror image. So students are just going to click in any of the squares they want to color in, and then move across till they've highlighted a rectangle shape. Then they come up here to this fill color feature and click on it, and they've got all these colors to choose from. So they can choose a color, and then they're just going to continue filling in squares until they have that mirror image. Across the y-axis. They're going to do the same thing on slide 5. They're going to reflect across the y-axis, just a different shape this time. Click and hold and highlight what they want to color in. And then the next slide has that same T shape, but this time we're going to reflect across the x-axis. So it's going to look a little bit different. And it should look like this. Still a reflection, a mirror image, but across a different axis. Then slide 7 shows students how to reflect across a line that's not either the y or the x-axis. It's across the line this time on x equals 1, which is colored in. So it's going to be equal distance from that line, and again, a mirror image. And it'll look something like this. And here they're going to reflect across the line y equals -1, so that would place our figure down at the bottom. Slide 9, they're going to be shown what to do if they're reflecting across a line, but the figure's already partway across that line. So here I've put 2 points here. You can see that this acts like a hinge. So we're just going to flip this figure straight up, and it's going to look like this. So they're going to try that on the next slide. Across that line, it's already partway across the line, but in the opposite direction, a mirror image. And it will look something like this. Now I have all of the completed slides for the teacher, so you can go check those, help you in grading the student slides. Now we move on to translation. So translation is moving a figure up, down, left, or right without changing its orientation. So same shape, same size, just moving up, down, left, or right. So this one we're told to move 6 units to the right. So they're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they get a square that's over here. Now on the next slide, they're going to be making 2 movements. They're going to take this figure, they're going to move it 4 units to the left and then 2 units down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. So it's going to be, they have to be very careful counting these. So 2 movements for this figure. The next one, again, 2 movements. This one, 6 units to the right, 4 units up. And then a little bit different shape. This one, they're going to move 5 units up, 4 to the left. Then we get into rotation around the origin. So here we have a triangle, and it's got 3 points on the graph. And we're given a formula. So we want to rotate this. We're rotating this triangle around the origin, and we want to move it 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that would place that next figure in quadrant 3. I'm going to take the coordinates of each of these points, and I'm going to use the formula negative yx in order to change the coordinates so I can find my new point. So this is the formula for clockwise 90 degrees. This first point is negative 1, 2. So if I move the numbers so they are in this order, I'm going to get negative 2, negative 1. And I just click and hold on one of these points. And I place it at negative 2, negative 1. The next point is at negative 1, 4. So using the formula, I'm going to end up with negative 4, negative 1. And the final point, negative 3, 2, will now be negative 2, negative 3. So now we have our new triangle. I've got these pieces, just click and hold, and you can move those to complete your triangle. And here we have a rotation of 90 degrees around the origin. Now the next slide has a different triangle. This time we've got a different formula because we're moving clockwise 90 degrees. Now because the figure's over here in quadrant 4, if we move clockwise 90 degrees, we're going to be again in quadrant 3. So they're going to use this formula for each of the points. Now we have a movement 180 degrees. If I move this figure 180 degrees, it's going to be in the opposite quadrant. So students are going to use this formula for a rotation of 180 degrees. It's just going to change each of the coordinates to the opposite. So for example, if this is negative 1, 2, then we have 1, negative 2. It changes the sign of each one of the coordinates. Now when we get to the final slide, you're going to see the full rotation of this triangle around the origin. So we've got all of the formulas. We're going to start with these points in blue, and we're going to use the formula to find all of the new points. And if it's done correctly, they will see a full rotation around the origin. Now dilation is our next transformation. Dilation is taking a figure and not changing its shape, but just changing its size. So here, if we dilate this figure by a scale factor of 2, that means we're going to have a square that's 2 times larger. So I'm going to take the coordinates of each of these points and I'm going to multiply them by 2. So instead of 1, 1, I now have 2, 2. And we just click and hold. I need to be over on the left of my mouse pad here. 2, 2. Negative 1, 1 would now be negative 2, 2. And so on. So just multiplying the coordinates by 2 because the scale factor is 2. And now I can just go ahead and fill in my square. And I get a figure that's the same shape, but 2 times larger. Now the next slide has a triangle shape, and this time we're going to be increasing by a scale factor of 3. So they're going to multiply each of the coordinates by 3. And we'll get our new triangle. And then if we have a scale factor that's a fraction less than 1, that means our new figure is going to be smaller. So I'm going to take the coordinates of each of these points and multiply times 1/2, which is just dividing by 2. And I get a smaller square that's 1/2 the size of the original. Slide 22, you've got 2 different transformations of the same figure. This one we're going to translate 5 units to the left, and we're going to then reflect over the x-axis. So it's going to end up looking something like this. So 2 different transformations. Now when they get down to slide 23, the very last slide, they've got all of these terms. They're going to place them in the correct place in the sentence frames. So they can refer back to slide 3 if they need to. So to create a mirror image by flipping a figure over a line is called reflection, I'm just going to click and hold on the edge of reflection, move it into place. And they're going to do that with the other three terms. So this is a digital lesson, Geometric Transformations, pirate themed.